Hello, and welcome back to the Home Reiki Meditation and Massage channel. My name is Sirmanartha, and today we will be doing a brief read into this book about self improvement 20 steps to power, influence, and control over people. But it's more of learning how to basically read people, read behavior patterns, and understand how people act and think in relations towards a person so we can work on ourselves through meditation and mantras. And so far, that is the overall gist of this book that I've been reading for a while now. It's a little bit I don't know. The wording is a little bit archaic. It was written in 1962, so some of the terminologies may not make complete sense, but it has been an interesting read. So, with that, we will go into the next chapter, the problem of maintaining control. When you reflect on it, it's a big problem, isn't it? After all, no matter how much self power you acquire, you are still human, and because you are, it is only natural that from time to time you will tire of the constantly maintaining the offensive, and it is this that makes never giving up the ball a big problem, isn't it? With that being the case, let's break the problem down and then look it in the several ways that are available for doing so. So that's more or less what I'm talking about. But this is kind of like getting ego out of the way or working on your ego or learning how to cope and deal with the ego of others. Because when we have problems and challenges, it's not really with the person, it's with egos. With that, okay, first of all, take an appraising look at your self power. Focus on that which you do with your self power above and before all else. Put it in simple words, you sell people on yourself, don't you? You do that first, and then through your accomplishment of that, you cause them to perform for you. Okay? Look a little harder at it. You'll see that when you sell people on yourself, you are able to do so because you make them see you as being confident, assured, and carrying the ball. Masterfully, whether you are or aren't those things, you make them see you. So, thus, to keep them sold on you, you must make them see you that way constantly. And you must do it no matter how much you tire. So basically, it's kind of like presenting an image of selling yourself, how you want other people to look at you. I don't totally agree with this book. I think you should be authentic and genuine no matter who you are and not try to sell an image of what you are or what you think others should see. Also, in relation that once you achieve whatever this goal is, that you should always be in that type of mindset or character or attitude. But it can be done. Your job is to accomplish it. And you have three means for doing it. Skillfully handled, they are techniques for remaining control. Use of the techniques for remaining control is essential. Most men never see these three means or techniques as available to them, and as a result, when they tire, they either give up the ball or they tiredly try to slug their way along. In short, they either drop their offensive or start desperately pushing and jabbing with their offensive and thus offending people with it. You can't afford to do either, for one is as bad as the other. When you give up the ball, you discard control and abandon self power. And when you push your offensive and thus offend people, you antagonize them, and their antagonism completely blots out any self power you may have had over them. So basically, it's kind of like in asserting yourself towards others. According to this, once you have some type of dominance or control or influence over other people's, that you should always be in that mode. Never give it up. But It also says a balance of not to be domineering and too pushy that you may offend people and go overboard. The next technique is the sit on the ball technique. The next time you tire, don't take a chance of being guilty of doing either of those things. Instead, relax and then just sit on the ball for a while. Do it the very instant anything signals your tiredness. In other words, the instant you tire, quit pushing the offensive. But don't let the other fellow take it. Here are some good examples of how you can do that. One man with a lot of self-power is an executive who maintains a heavy 9-hour schedule each day. Now you know that's back in the 60s, because today it would be doubled. He says that when he is tiring of carrying the ball, his tone begins to be crisp, and instead of pleasantly telling or asking people to do things, he begins to order or command them, possibly instead of pleasantly saying to his secretary, now we would say administrative assistant or executive assistant, "See if you can reach Jones for me." He will say crisply, "Get Jones on the phone." With the first such signal of any tiredness, and regardless of the urgency of any business before him, of how many people he is facing in his office or elsewhere, he constantly, I'm talking too fast, so I gotta slow it down. He instantly and lively digresses to an entirely disassociated subject that will be certain to interest the person or persona he is talking to, and leads them to talk on that subject until his tiredness has passed, whether but a moment or many minutes is required. Then, when his tiredness is past, he quickly interrupts and carries the ball onward, and when he has stopped with it, from where he has stopped with it. I'm talking way too much. Another executive who admits to the same tiredness signals uses a slightly different method. With the first signal of any tiredness, he instantly puts an arguable problem to the person or persons he is talking to, and lets them talk on and wrestle with it until his tiredness is past. In one instance, the tiredness came on in the middle of lengthily dealing with a $300,000 loss. To the other directors, he instantly said, the Internal Revenue Department could be made to shoulder at least half the loss if you would determine what executive salaries to cut, how much, and for how long. He had no intention of offsetting the loss in that manner, and he didn't listen to or care about their arguments or estimates. He just wanted to confuse them so he could relax and let them argue among themselves until he was ready to run the ball again. Now that's kind of smart. I got to give him credit for that. Let other people get into your disagreements or challenges until you feel like taking back the reins. So that kind of makes sense. Still, another executive offers a quite different method. Also, he puts forth one more tiredness signal you can take note of, in addition to the more common already mentioned one. He says tiredness causes him to try to ram ideas, opinions, and arguments down the throats of others. He is most conscious of this added signal because during his selling days, failure to heed it was often exceedingly costly. At the first hint of either of the tiredness signals, he instantly puts a diverting question to the person or persons he is talking to, and then relaxes